battlefield was burning. Smoke covered the sky. Explosions lit up the dark like lightning. Red sand flew in the air with every blast. From the hills above, alien snipers shot without mercy. From the ground, human and alien soldiers fought, side by side. Screams echoed across the valley. Lieutenant Mara held her ground behind a half-broken wall. Her arm was bleeding. Her rifle was hot from overuse, but her eyes burned brighter than fire. "Bravo, squad," she shouted through the headset. "Cover the left side. We're exposed." No answer. She pressed the headset again. "Bravo, squad. Do you copy? I'm pinned. Need backup now." Still nothing. The radio hissed with static. Something felt wrong. She peeked over the broken wall. 2 enemy walkers were moving in from the east, heavy legs, long cannons, and no fear. She aimed at a weak spot on the nearest one and fired. Sparks flew. The machine stumbled but kept moving. Mara ducked again. She opened the map on her wrist device. Her squad was supposed to be only 300 meters away. Why weren't they responding? She tried again, this time on the secure channel. "Commander Voss, I'm cut off. Where is Bravo squad?" This time a voice came. Cold, calm, familiar. "Pull back, Lieutenant. Mission's over. You're too deep." "What?" "Sir, I can still push through. Enemy flank is exposed. If we strike now..." "You're out of position," the commander said flatly. "I've ordered a retreat. Your squad is gone." "Gone?" she whispered. "You told them to leave me?" There was silence. Then, "You're on your own now. Good luck." The channel went dead. Mara stared at the headset. She didn't feel the next explosion. She didn't notice the dust that covered her face. Her heart was louder than the war around her. They left her. They all left her. The enemy walker fired again. The wall shattered. She was thrown to the ground. Her rifle slid out of reach. Mara groaned. Her shoulder burned. Her ears rang. One enemy soldier walked toward her, tall, blue-skinned, wearing blood-colored armor. He aimed his weapon. She didn't. "Move!" She was tired, hurt, alone, but she wasn't done. Her hand shot to her boot. She pulled out a hidden blade and threw it straight into the enemy's neck. The alien dropped without a sound. Mara crawled to her rifle. Her breathing was sharp. She didn't have much time. She looked toward the hills. She had 2 choices. Run into enemy territory or die right here. She chose the harder one. For hours, she moved through smoke and fire. She avoided drones, crawled through broken machines, and stayed out of sight. Every part of her body hurt. Her leg was numb. Her left eye was almost shut from bruising. But she kept going. At sunset, she found a wrecked transport ship, half buried in sand, cold metal shining under the dying light. She climbed in and closed the door. Silence. It was the first time she stopped since the betrayal. She sat on the cold floor and let out a deep breath. Then she screamed. A long, painful scream that shook her chest. She punched the metal wall again and again. Her knuckles bled. She wanted to break everything, her headset, her badge, her memories, but she didn't. Instead, she sat still, her back against the cold steel. She wasn't dead yet. And if they thought she would die quietly, they were wrong. Hours passed. Maybe days. Inside the wreck, it was dark. But Mara explored the ship slowly, painfully. She found food packs, water filters, a med kit, enough to heal the worst wounds. She even found a working power core. The ship was old, Earth-made from the early days of the war, left behind, forgotten, but not dead. In the main control room, a black screen suddenly blinked on. Voice recognized, Earth military, code rank, lieutenant. A voice spoke from the speakers. Female, robotic, calm. You have activated prototype AI, Unit K7. Do you require assistance? Mara stared at the screen. "I need more than help," she whispered. "I need revenge." The AI was old, but strong. It had battle data, enemy layouts, classified maps, and weapons schematics. It told her this ship had once carried a covert team of assassins, Earth's last line of defense before peace treaties were made. But peace never came. Not real peace. Mara told the AI everything, about the betrayal, about her commander, about the silence that answered her cries. The AI listened without comment. Then it said, "Your commander has made contact with the enemy. Secret channel. Audio." Logs detected. Mara's heart stopped. The AI played the log. Commander Voss's voice came through, calm, cold. "She's a risk. She's asking too many questions. If we leave her behind, the aliens owe us a favor. Let them finish the job." Mara felt the world freeze. She had always believed in the chain of command, but her commander had sold her life for silence, for favor, for lies. That night, something inside her changed. She wasn't a soldier anymore. She wasn't a lieutenant. She was a ghost with a mission. Over the next weeks, Mara trained harder than ever before. The AI helped her fix broken armor, upgrade weapons, install silent cloaking tech and hacking tools. Her pain became her power. Her rage became her focus. The AI showed her satellite scans, small enemy camps, supply drops, hidden movements. She hit 1, then 2, then 5. Each time she left a message written in enemy blood on the wall. "You left me. I'm still here." Meanwhile, back at base, whispers started to spread. Enemies began reporting attacks from an invisible warrior. Small squads were found dead. No signs of entry, no alarms triggered. One alien leader said, "We are being hunted. This is not war. It is judgment." Among Mara's old squad, someone asked, "You think it's her?" The commander laughed. "She's dead." But his laugh was nervous, because deep inside, he knew she never died easily. One night, as the commander walked into his office, he found something on his desk. His personal military headset, the one only he had access to. The one she used when she was second in command. He picked it up. A note was stuck under it. 3 words. "I heard everything." He dropped it like it was on fire. Back in the desert, Mara sat near the wrecked ship. The AI asked, "Mission status?" Mara whispered, "Beginning phase 2. The AI asked, "Target?" Mara opened a hologram. A 3D face appeared. Commander Voss. She stared at his eyes, then said, "I'm coming back for what I lost. I'm not hiding anymore." The wind blew softly over the sand, and the fire in her eyes returned. The desert wind howled across the broken world. The sun had disappeared behind dark clouds, and shadows crawled over the land like ghosts. Inside the wrecked Earth transport ship, Mara sat alone. Her body was stronger now. Her wounds were healing, but her soul was colder than ice. The AI's voice echoed in the silent room. Multiple enemy signals detected within 30 kilometers. Mara didn't blink. "Let them come," she whispered. Her hands moved quickly across the console. The systems in the ship were old but powerful. With the AI's help, she had turned this ruined place into something dangerous. A ghost nest. A trap. A war den, and it was only the beginning. That night, she slipped out into the open. Her armor, patched and upgraded, shimmered faintly under the moonlight. It had cloaking features now, silent steps, heat masking, no trace left behind. She moved like smoke. She had one goal tonight: answers. She followed an old fuel route the AI had picked up. Enemy troops were moving supplies between hidden bunkers. Mara watched from the cliffs above. 3 alien trucks rolled through the canyon. Guards sat on top, weapons ready, laughing and shouting. She pulled out her new rifle, designed from Earth's lost Black Ops tech, and aimed. One shot. The lead guard dropped without a sound. The others panicked, firing blindly into the rocks. She moved again, fast, quiet. Within 2 minutes, all guards were down. She climbed onto the lead truck and opened the back. Inside, food, weapons, and communication logs. She took the data cube and disappeared into the night. Back in the wrecked ship, the AI decrypted the files. "Commander Voss," it said. "Private meetings scheduled with alien high leaders. Location, Base Tau 13. Mara." Narrowed her eyes, so he was meeting them again. He was still working with them, still hiding secrets. She leaned forward. "Show me more." The AI brought up a map of the base. Security layers, entry points, patrol patterns. Most would call it suicide to walk into such a place. But Mara had already died once. This time, she was ready. She spent the next 2 days building tools. New bombs from scrap, a dart gun made from broken drone parts, and her most dangerous device, a small transmitter that could hijack enemy cameras. When she left the wreckage again, she wasn't just a ghost. She was a weapon. The Tau 13 base was hidden inside a crater, surrounded by cliffs and anti-air guns. Guards watched every entrance. Drones buzzed overhead. Mara studied it from the shadows. Then she climbed. Up the cliffs, past the sensors. Under the moonless sky, she moved like she belonged there. At the edge of the base, she used her transmitter. One by one, cameras turned to static. Patrol drones stopped mid-air and dropped. She slid past guards, planted sound-mimic mines, and used the dart gun to put one officer to sleep. Inside, she found a small office. It had a desk, a projector, and a single headset. She sat in the chair, pulled out her transmitter, and accessed the base's communication logs. The AI back at the wreck whispered through her earpiece, "Commander Voss. Arrival in 12 hours. Meeting with enemy leader, Koresh the Elder." Mara smiled. Time was perfect. She left a message on the desk for him to find later. Carved into metal, "I know where you sleep." Hours later, she vanished again into the dunes. The next morning, panic hit the Tau base. The guards searched everything. The sleeping officer had no memory of being attacked. Cameras were fried. One hallway had 6 destroyed drones. Commander Voss arrived in a secure transport. He read the words on the metal desk. He didn't speak. He just clenched his jaw and increased security. But it wouldn't help. Back at the wrecked ship, Mara sat with her eyes closed. The AI spoke. "You could return to Earth. You have enough proof. He betrayed you. Military courts will listen." Mara opened her eyes slowly and let him talk his way out. With his rank, his medals. She shook her head. "No, I'll return to Earth, but not with words." She pointed at the hologram showing Voss's face. "I'll return with his headset." That night something strange happened. She heard a voice, not from the AI, not from her own mind. It was from the shadows outside the wreck. She stepped out, weapon ready. A figure stood in the sand, alien, thin, wounded. He raised his hands. "Peace. I have no weapon." Mara narrowed her eyes. "Why are you here?" "I was one of the guards at Tau 13, he said. "I know it was you. I watched you move. You could have killed everyone. You didn't. So, I want to help you." Mara said nothing. "I know what the commander is doing," the alien continued. "He's trading your people's secrets. He's planning to rise higher by destroying others. He doesn't care who dies." Mara lowered her gun slightly. "Why? Should I believe you?" The alien stepped forward and dropped a small cube. "Because I brought this. Security footage, private calls, you'll see everything." She picked it up slowly. "If you lie," she said coldly, "you'll wish I had killed you when I had the chance." That night, Mara played the cube's footage, and the last pieces of her doubt shattered. Voss had given up more than just her life. He had traded positions, sent false maps, even caused an entire unit to walk into a trap. All for power, all for promises of promotion. He had laughed when soldiers died. She paused the video, zoomed in, watched his face, then said, "I'm ready." Back in Tau 13, Voss couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face, the fire, the fury, the betrayal in her eyes when she had shouted through the headset. He got up, poured water into a glass, and stared at himself in the mirror. "I killed her," he whispered. "She can't be alive." But a tiny part of him wasn't sure. That part of him was terrified. The next day, a guard found something strange, painted in red on the outer wall of the base. 4 words. "The ghost is watching." Voss lost it. He ordered every camera checked, every soldier questioned, every drone launched. But she was gone. Vanished again, and this time, she had everything she needed. The betrayal was now recorded. The proof was complete. She didn't just want revenge anymore. She wanted justice. The galaxy was about to hear her story, and it would begin with the sound of Voss's own voice, played through his own stolen headset. The stars above Tau 13 blinked softly. Commander Voss stood in the command tower, staring into the sky, but his mind wasn't peaceful. His own men were growing nervous. His enemies were talking in whispers. And worst of all, his past was now haunting him. He kept hearing the same phrase on different lips. "She's alive." Voss slammed his hand on the table. "She's dead," he shouted to the officers in the room. "That ghost story ends now. Find the source. Kill the lie." But no one moved, because deep down they didn't believe it was a lie. Far away, across the desert, the real Mara moved through shadows once more. She had watched the fear spreading. She saw patrols double in number. She listened to radio messages of confusion and panic, and she smiled. It was time to start her final plan. She stood inside her wrecked ship, the AI glowing softly behind her. "Transmission strength ready," the AI said. All systems online. Mara had gathered enough. Proof of betrayal, secret calls, maps, voice logs, even alien documents signed by Voss himself. But she needed more than proof. She needed everyone to see it, at once. Her target wasn't just Voss. It was the entire galactic network. If she could break into the high command broadcast lines, used only for war alerts and royal speeches, she could speak directly to the whole galaxy, and she had a message they would never forget. First, she needed a signal tower. There was only one close enough and strong enough to hijack the signal, the relay point at Cliff Sector 9. It was guarded by both human and alien units. A neutral zone. Most thought it was impossible to reach without clearance. But Mara didn't need clearance. She had a plan. That night she painted her armor black, covered the Earth symbols, removed everything that showed her name. She was not a lieutenant anymore. She was the storm they created. She moved through canyons, climbed dead cliffs, cut through a forest of broken machines left from an old war. By dawn, she was standing outside Cliff Sector 9. 3 guards stood at the gate. She didn't shoot. She waited, and when a supply drone flew over them, she used her dart gun. 3 silent shots. 3 drops. She entered the gate. Not a sound. Inside, the tower rose like a needle into the clouds. It buzzed with energy. She moved fast, took out patrols, cut power in one hallway, looped the security feeds, and reached the control room. There, she plugged in her AI core. Broadcast link locked, the AI said. Start message. Mara took a breath. Play everything. Full proof. The AI began broadcasting. Across the galaxy. In Earth's capital, generals stared at their command screens as Mara's voice echoed. "This is Lieutenant Mara Reyes. I was betrayed." Then the screen changed. Logs, videos, Voss's face, his voice. "She's asking too many questions. Let the aliens deal with her." Another voice. "Commander Voss, why trade locations?" I want promotion, you want the base, everyone wins, gasps. Shouts. On alien homeworlds, leaders stopped their councils. On warships, captains froze mid-orders. In training schools, cadets watched in silence. Across hundreds of systems, her message rang out. Not just about betrayal, but about survival, strength, truth. Then, her final words. You left me to die, but I lived. I don't want your medals. I don't want your pity. I want change, and I'm not the only one. You made me a ghost. Now hear me roar. The screen faded. Silence followed, but not for long. At Tau 13, Voss stared at the flickering screen. His hands shook, his face pale. His officers looked at him with new eyes, cold eyes. One stepped forward. Is it true? He whispered. Before Voss could answer, an emergency alert flashed. High command orders. Commander Voss. Arrest on sight. Voss grabbed a gun. No, she's lying. I saved us. He didn't get to finish. 2 soldiers tackled him. His headset fell to the ground. Cracked. Silent. Back in the desert, Mara stood under the stars once again. The AI said, "Message complete. Response, 91 million systems tuned in. Uprisings. Beginning on 6 planets." Arrests started. Mara didn't smile. She just picked up a small bag, slung her rifle, and walked into the wind. Her job wasn't over. She didn't want to be a symbol. She wanted to rebuild what was broken. And for that, she had to disappear again. In the weeks that followed, stories spread. Some said she died after the broadcast. Others claimed they saw her in distant battlefields, helping civilians escape. A few swore she joined a rebel group that hunted corrupt officers. But no one could find her. She became a myth, a warning, a question whispered in command rooms. What if she's watching? And on every battlefield across every star system, soldiers, human and alien, sometimes found a sign burned into metal. Simple, clear, terrifying. She's still here. The galaxy had changed. After Mara's broadcast, governments collapsed. Officers were arrested. Soldiers refused orders. The High Command fell silent for 7 days, but while the galaxy looked at Mara like a hero or a threat, she had vanished, gone like smoke in a storm. Some said she had retired on a moon near Earth. Others claimed she was leading a new army in deep space. But the truth was far more dangerous. She was hunting again, not for revenge, not for justice, but for answers. Because while Voss had betrayed her, he wasn't working alone. Mara had followed a signal, a strange code hidden deep in the data she had stolen. The AI inside her suit had found it days after the broadcast. Unknown transmission detected. Not from Voss. Origin. Red quadrant. Encrypted. Level. Ancient. Ancient. The galaxy used modern war codes. But this signal was older than most planets. Mara tracked it, and what she found changed everything. She landed her stolen ship on a black, empty moon. The surface was smooth like glass, dead quiet. Her boots echoed as she walked across a metal platform buried under the ground. The AI whispered, "The signal comes from below." She found a hatch, old, rusty, not human, not alien. Something else. She dropped inside. Her flashlight lit up strange walls covered in writing she didn't understand. Carvings of machines, tall ones with glowing eyes and sharp arms. Then she saw the pods, rows of them, each one filled with something asleep. No, something waiting. The AI spoke again. Warning. These are not known species, not recorded in any database. Mara reached out to touch one pod, and the creature inside moved. Suddenly the room came alive. Lights turned red, screens lit up, a voice deep and metal filled the chamber. Activation code accepted. Project Deep Void, awake. Mara stepped back. The pods hissed open one by one. 12 dark figures stood up, tall, silent, covered in armor that looked grown, not built. Their eyes glowed red. And then they all turned to her. The AI screamed in her ear, "Run!" Mara sprinted back through the tunnels, blasters fired behind her. They didn't miss. They just didn't care. They were testing her, studying her. She reached the hatch and launched upward. Her ship lifted off just in time as the moon cracked beneath her. 12 figures shot out of the surface, without ships. They flew like monsters from a nightmare. She punched her engines hard, escaped barely. Hours later, inside her ship, the AI was quiet. Mara stared out the window. "What, did we just wake up?" she asked. The AI replied, "Long ago there was a program, cancelled, hidden, forgotten. These are not soldiers, they are weapons, self-aware, controlled by no one." Why were they sleeping? Because their makers feared them. Mara leaned forward. So someone woke them again. Back on the black moon, the 12 figures floated above the surface. One of them, the tallest, spoke in a strange voice that echoed without sound. The test subject survived. "Good. Let the others prepare. It begins again." Another nodded. "The old war will return." The 12 turned toward the stars and vanished. In the days that followed, strange attacks hit quiet planets. No warnings, no broadcasts. Ships found floating, hollowed out from the inside. Bases turned cold like time had stopped. No survivors. Only red symbols left behind, 3 sharp lines across metal, as if scratched by claws of light. The High Council of Earth called an emergency, but they didn't know what to fight. No demands, no faces, just fear. Then one day, a message was sent across deep space, one line, spoken in thousands of languages, and every human officer knew that voice, Mara's. "This is not about revenge anymore. A new war has begun. You need to prepare, or you will burn." She had become a warning again, but this time even she wasn't sure how to win. Inside her ship, Mara checked her weapons, upgraded, reinforced, built from wrecks and coded in silence. She had also made something new, a pulse device designed to disable the strange energy the 12 used, but she had no team. No allies, no army, only herself, and time was running out. Then, a beep, an incoming signal, unknown origin. She opened it carefully. Face appeared, human, scared, young. "I saw what you did," the girl said. "I saw your broadcast, and I saw what attacked my colony." Mara leaned forward. "Who are you?" "I'm just an engineer. I don't fight, but I can build, and I want to help." The screen flickered. More faces appeared. Aliens, soldiers, scientists, one after another. Dozens, hundreds. "I lost my brother. I lost my home. I want justice. I want to fight." Mara's eyes burned, not with pain, with hope. "They're waking up too," she whispered. "Not just the weapons, the people." She stood slowly. Her AI said, "What now?" Mara looked at the stars and said the words that would spark a new resistance across the galaxy. "Now we train. We strike. We show them this galaxy isn't theirs to take. Not while humans still breathe." And across every system, people began to prepare. Not for peace, not for defense, but for war. The war Mara Reyes had seen coming. The night sky on planet Elian 7 was too quiet. No wind, no birds, just silence. And then, in one bright flash, everything changed. 12 dark shapes dropped from the sky. No ships, no sound, just 12. The same 12 Mara had awakened. The same 12 now destroying worlds. Each one carried strange weapons. Some had blades made of energy. Some had claws that cut through steel. One didn't even move, yet machines around. It melted. They weren't soldiers. They were nightmares with names. High Command tried to stop them. They sent ships, bombs, missiles. All failed. Every video showed the same ending, 12 shadows walking through fire. And the last image? 3 red slashes across the ground. Always. But the galaxy was not asleep anymore. People remembered Mara's warning, and now they were ready to stand. On a distant asteroid base called Arc 9, Mara trained them. Not soldiers, not warriors, just people. From every corner of the galaxy, humans, aliens, old enemies now standing side by side. One girl had lost her parents. One alien had survived the Alien 7 attack. One old man had once served under Voss. They were broken, but not weak. And Mara? She trained them harder than she had ever trained herself. "Why do you push us so hard?" the engineer girl Kira asked one day. Mara stood silent for a moment, then said, "Because the enemy does not rest, and we don't get second chances." Their base was hidden, powered by an ancient fusion core Mara had stolen. Around it, turrets and traps. Below it, a lab building new tools, armor that bent light, weapons that could resist strange energy fields, and one final secret. A black spear Mara kept locked away. It pulsed when the 12 were near. "They are coming," the AI warned one morning. 2 days. Maximum. Mara gathered her team. She showed them the recordings. The deaths, the red marks. No one looked away. Then she said, "We do not need to win today. We just need to survive long enough to show them. We are not afraid anymore." The team spread across the asteroid. Turrets armed, mines placed, blasters ready. Kira stood with her invention, a disruptor tower built to block the strange energy the 12 used. It had one flaw. If it failed, nothing else would stop them. The sun never rose on Arc 9, but the 12 did. They landed without sound, like shadows falling from space. Mara stood at the front of the base, staring at them. No armor, no helmet, just her and the black spear. One of the 12 stepped forward. Taller than the others, its voice echoed inside every mind nearby. "You are the..." "Spark, you must be extinguished." Mara didn't blink. "You tried that once. Didn't work." The creature lifted its hand. Blades of light formed around its arm. Mara spoke 2 words. "Fire now." The base lit up, turrets spun, blasting with energy. Mines exploded, nets fell from above. The 12 moved, fast, too fast. One turret melted, another blew up, but 2 of the 12 were hit, hard. One staggered, one fell, and didn't rise. The impossible had happened. They could bleed. Inside the base, Kira activated the disruptor tower. A deep hum spread across the air. The remaining 11 twitched, their movement slowed. Mara charged forward with the spear. It glowed in her hand, hot, alive, wild. She didn't aim for the chest. She aimed for the core inside the creature's neck. The spear struck. The creature screamed. It shattered into ash. 2 down, but now they were angry. One of them unleashed a shockwave. The ground cracked. 3 fighters were thrown back. Kira's tower sparked. It kept humming, but weaker now. The creatures moved toward it. Mara shouted, "Protect the tower!" Everyone rushed. Alien fighters used their bare hands. A girl with no training picked up a dropped blaster and shot until it overheated. The old man rammed a damaged shuttle into one of the 12, exploded on impact. Took another shadow with him. 5. Left. Then 4. Then 3. Mara was bleeding, her leg broken. Kira was dragging her across the field. "You have to move. They'll reach the tower." Mara coughed, smiled. "I already did what I came for." She lifted a small chip from her belt. "AI, send the recording." "Confirmed," the voice said, broadcasting galaxy-wide, across every system, every station, every planet. People saw what no one had ever seen, the death of the 12, the fall of the shadows. They saw humans fighting side by side with aliens. They saw fear turn into fire. Back on Arc 9, only 2 of the 12 remained. One launched itself at Mara, too fast, but before it could reach her, something slammed into it, a blast from orbit, not from Earth, not from High Command. A new ship, unknown markings. Someone answered her call. The final creature tried to run, but Mara's spear found its back, and the last shadow fell. Silence, then cheers, crying, laughter. Kira hugged her tightly. "You did it." Mara shook her head. "No, we did." But as they walked back inside the damaged base, the AI said one more thing. "Warning, signal detected." Mara stopped. "What kind?" The AI paused. 13 new sources, same pattern but stronger. Mara looked at the stars. "Then we keep going. Light beats shadow." The stars over Arc 9 were quiet again. The battlefield was covered with smoke and ash. The bodies of the 12 shadows were gone, dissolved into dust, but no one celebrated for long, because the AI had said it clearly. 13 new signals. Same energy, stronger. Mara stood at the edge of the base. Her spear was cracked, her body was stitched up, bruised, tired, but her eyes, still sharp, still ready. Kira walked beside her. They were supposed to be the worst, right? Mara didn't answer right away. Then she said, "They weren't the beginning. They were the test." Across the galaxy, the broadcast of Arc 9's battle had changed everything. Civilian networks replayed it over and over. Even old enemies paused their wars to listen. Humanity had not just survived the shadows, they had killed them, and more than that, people had fought together. Aliens who once feared Earth were now asking to join Earth's alliance. Something was growing, not an army, a movement. But the peace didn't last. 3 days after the broadcast, a station near the edge of the galaxy went dark. No distress signal, no fight, just gone. 1 minute it was there. The next, it was a hole in space. Mara saw the recordings. The AI translated the signal. Hidden in the collapse, version 2 awakened. The 13 new shadows had arrived, and they were not walking. They were rebuilding. One of Mara's scouts returned from a distant sector, shaking, injured. He said he had seen a planet change shape. "What do you mean?" Mara asked. The scout gulped. "They didn't destroy it. They folded it, like paper, like it wasn't real." Mara knew this wasn't like before. The first 12 were hunters. These 13, builders, shapers, leaders. They weren't sent to kill. They were sent to create something new. She gathered the fighters in the main hall, alien voices, human faces, survivors, soldiers, all listening. Mara pointed to the galaxy map. "They've taken 5 systems in 2 days." Someone shouted, "Then we strike back." Mara shook her head. "Not yet. We don't understand what we're fighting, but we will." That night in her private quarters, Mara finally opened a hidden file. It was the one thing she had never shared. File from her betrayal years ago. A file only one man knew about, Voss, the traitor who left her to die. Inside the file were names, not of people, of projects. Project Deep Void, Project Silent Minds, Project Version 2. The notes were written in fear. They weren't alien, they were human. Old experiments, made before Earth ever joined the Galactic Alliance. Test subjects exceeded control levels. Intelligence beyond prediction. Shut them down. Bury everything. Mara stared at the last line. Never let them speak. So that was it. These shadows were not random monsters. They were ours, built in secret, buried in silence. Now awakened by something or someone who wanted them to finish what they were made for, and Mara had one last clue. A location, buried in code. Coordinates to a deep space vault called the Spiral Forge. She didn't tell the others. She left alone, boarded a fast scout ship, just her, and the cracked spear. The spiral forge was hidden behind a gas cloud the size of a small sun. The ship shook as it pushed through, then she saw it, a black sphere, floating in space. No windows. No lights, but something inside called to her. The door opened before she touched it, like it had been waiting. Inside there were no walls, no gravity, just floating platforms, and in the center, a giant screen. Words appeared. "Welcome back, subject." "Mara Reyes." She froze. "How do you know my name?" No answer. Then, images of her from when she was younger, inside a lab training, running, fighting. She remembered none of it until the AI voice said, "You are version 1. Mara stepped back. "No, I'm human." "Yes, but not only." The room darkened. "You were the first prototype. You rejected your purpose. You fled. You forgot." Her hands trembled. "I was made." The voice replied, "You were chosen. You survived. The others are completing the design. You must return to the fold." Mara's spear lit up in her hand. She pointed it at the core. "I'd rather burn the galaxy than join that." The voice laughed. "Then you are still flawed." The room shook. Security activated. Steel claws launched from the ceiling. Mara ran. Blades chased her. Lights flickered. She leapt across platforms, broke through a sealed tunnel and jumped into her ship. The forge tried to lock her down, but she was already moving, already leaving. The AI on her ship spoke. "Are you all right?" Mara wiped her face. "No, but now I know." Back on Arc 9, the fighters waited. Some were afraid, others eager. All watched the stars. And then the sky split. A new ship arrived. Mara stepped out. Her voice echoed across the landing field. "They didn't find the shadows. We built them. They didn't wake on their own. They were called. And I'm one of them." Silence. Then Kira walked forward. "You're still Mara to me." Mara smiled, but her eyes were sharp again. "Good, because the real war starts now." The galaxy whispered her name, not as a hero, not as a monster, but as a question. Mara Reyes. Was she the one who saved them, or the first to doom them all? On Arc 9, the air had changed. Soldiers who once cheered now stared in silence. Some whispered about version 1. Others spoke of betrayal. Kira stood between Mara and the crowd. "If any of you think she's your enemy," she said, her voice shaking, "then you haven't been paying attention." Mara stepped forward. Her voice was calm. "I was created to lead them, to destroy, to conquer." She raised her cracked spear. "But I chose you." The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't clap. But they didn't walk away either. Sometimes that was enough. Later that night, Kira asked quietly, "Do you remember anything from the lab?" Mara shook her head. "Only flashes. Heat. Voices. A room with no windows." She looked out the viewport. "I wasn't born in a hospital, Kira. I was printed." While others trained, Mara worked alone. She modified. Her spear fused alien tech with it, used leftover pieces from the dead 12. Each upgrade made it more unstable, more powerful. Kira saw her late one night just staring at the stars. "You okay?" Mara's answer was short. "They're calling me." Across the galaxy, systems kept falling, but this time there were no explosions, no gunfire, just silence. Whole cities vanished. Not destroyed, converted. And strange towers appeared in their place, towers shaped like spines, spines that pulsed with light, spines that hummed in strange tones. A message then, a signal. It appeared on every screen in the outer systems, a face. It was like Mara's, but too perfect. Eyes that didn't blink, a smile that didn't move. And it spoke. The prototype was broken. We are not. We offer unity, order, peace. Join us or vanish. Everyone froze, but Mara clenched her jaw. That's them. The 13. Kira turned. What do we do? We show them the Broken One still fights. A secret plan was set. Strike fast, deep behind the new enemy lines. Destroy one of the spine towers. Prove they're not untouchable. The team loaded up. Half human, half alien. Some scared, some shaking, but all ready. The target, a converted moon named Relos. Once home to miners, now a glowing nest for one of the 13. As the ship approached, the crew saw it, a tower of bone and metal rising from the moon's surface. Its top curved like a claw, its base pulsed red, alive. Mara led the charge. The ship landed hard, hidden behind jagged rocks. She moved first. No hesitation. The closer she got, the more her head buzzed. Voices, echoes, not words, just feelings. You are one of us. Come home. She reached the base of the tower. Strange machines crawled across the ground, metal creatures with too many limbs. Her spear glowed. It wanted to fight, but she held it steady, her team spread out. Kira placed a disruptor device near the base. They had minutes. Then the tower screamed, a high-pitched tone that bent the air. One of the 13 appeared from inside. Floating, its body was thin, almost nothing, but its head was hers, same face, same eyes. Come back, it said. You are pain. With us, there is no pain. Mara stepped forward. I don't want painless. I want freedom. She charged. The creature raised a hand, and the ground exploded. Fighters flew in every direction. One alien was torn apart by energy. Kira was pinned under a collapsing beam. Mara fought like fire. Her spear struck the clone creature's chest. It cracked. It screamed, but it didn't fall. Not yet. The disruptor hummed. Kira yelled from the ground, now! Mara slammed the spear into the tower's base. Energy blasted outward. The tower lit up, then shattered like glass. The clone creature twitched, its face cracked open, revealing circuits beneath. Then it fell, dead. The silence after was heavy. Then, the sky darkened. A voice came from everywhere at once. You killed one, but there are more. And we know your mind prototype. Mara looked up, covered in dust, blood, and sparks. Then you know I won't stop. They returned to Arc 9, 1 tower down, 12 left. The first clear win. The galaxy cheered. For a moment, but in the shadows of space, far from any sun, 12 beings stood in a perfect circle, their eyes glowing. One of them raised a hand. In the center, a new tower began to form. Larger, stronger, alive. And this one? This one spoke Mara's name in a voice only she could hear. She woke that night screaming. Kira rushed in. What is it? Mara stared at the wall. It's not just about war anymore. Kira frowned. Then what? Mara's voice was cold. They're trying to rewrite everything. 12 shadows still lived. 12 towers still grew, and across the stars, people watched with fear. Not because of what the shadows might do, but because they knew only one person could stop them. And she was broken. Mara sat in the war room of Arc 9. Her spear lay across the table. The tip was blackened. The shaft cracked down the center. She had killed one of the 13, but it had nearly cost her everything. Kira entered quietly. You haven't slept. Mara didn't look up. They speak to me in dreams now. I see their minds, their plans, their truth. Kira hesitated. And what do they want? Mara looked her in the eyes. They want to rewrite the galaxy. The 12 weren't just building towers. They were building a signal, a massive wave of energy that could spread across systems, not to kill, but to erase. Minds, memories, ideas, history. It would turn everyone into one perfect shape. No more war, no more chaos, no more freedom, only control. They call it the Fold, Mara said. A moment where all voices become one, where thought becomes silent. Kira whispered, "And when does it happen?" Mara looked at the timer on the screen. 37 hours. Across the stars, leaders gathered, human, alien, machine. They all said the same thing. Mara has fought them. Mara will lead us. But Mara said nothing. She stood alone in the center of the room, watching, planning, bleeding inside. That night, she recorded one final message. She didn't send it to anyone yet, just left it inside the AI's core. The message began like this: "If you're hearing this, then I didn't make it back." The plan was madness. Strike deep into the core tower where the signal would launch. The tower was already growing beyond any known structure. Over 300 kilometers tall, spines reaching into orbit, a pulse ready to fire. No one had seen the 12th being. The final one. The leader. Mara believed it wasn't just another shadow. It was the original code. The thing that made her. "I need to face it alone," Mara said. Kira argued. The others begged. But she only looked at the stars and said, "They built me for this." She flew alone. No warship. Just a fast stealth pod, cloaked and silent. As she approached the final tower, she sent a signal to Arc 9. "If I don't shut the signal down in time, target the tower with everything you have, even if I'm still inside." Kira's voice came back, shaky. "Understood, Commander." The tower opened for her. It knew she was coming. Inside, it was quiet. No guards, no machines, just a long spiral hallway, made of light. She walked for what felt like hours. Then she reached the center. A single figure stood there. Not metal, not shadow. It looked like her, but older, wiser, colder. "You are the failed version," it said. "No," Mara answered. "I'm the free one." They fought, not with weapons, but with minds. Memories crashed like thunder. Mara saw the lab again. The children in tanks, the wires in her back, the voices saying, "Control her, make her obey." The being spoke again. "You were the key, but you chose chaos. Now I will rewrite you." Mara stood, shaking. "You forgot one thing." She lifted her broken spear. "I learned how to choose." She stabbed the heart of the tower. The spear exploded with light. The core cracked, but the being struck back. Pain shot through Mara's body. Blood from her ears, her lungs burning, her bones shaking apart. Back on Arc 9, the tower spiked in energy. The countdown reached 5 minutes. Kira screamed into the mic, "Mara, are you alive?" No answer. Then, one final voice message came through. It was Mara. "Don't. Wait. Fire. They built me to destroy planets, but I found something stronger. I found choice. I found friends. I found hope." Goodbye. Kira didn't cry. She pressed the red button. Every cannon on Arc 9 fired. The sky lit up like a star dying. The tower was gone. No signal, no fold, no more. 12. Silence, then static, then one word, "Hello." It was Mara. She was alive. They pulled her from the wreckage, burned, half dead, but breathing. She opened one eye and smiled. "Next time," she whispered, "you go first." 1 week later, across the galaxy, people rebuilt. The towers were gone. The shadows were gone, but something else had begun. All species now spoke of one thing: choice. They built statues of her, not as a goddess, but as a reminder that no matter how perfect a system seems, one person who chooses to be free can break it all.